Okay, so regarding today, while we're here on the 23rd, there's obviously a conference here today. I just want to know, what are your views on the conference today?
I think it's a lot of baloney, to be fair. It's a phony conference that put together by David Cameron to pave a way for further exploitation of Somalia, really. I mean, it wasn't enough that they were already meddling with Somalia's politics for years. I mean, for the last 20 years that Somalia's been in civil war, they've never really, Somalia is one of those African countries that have never been allowed by the West to fully decolonize, fully gain their independence. They've been at the heart of it because Somalia happens to be one of the most strategic places in the world. This is, I think, the second most important place when it comes to untapped resources. They've always known that, and they've never let that go. So it makes no sense to me that a former colonizer would now want to allow and continue to dismantle Somalia's politics and meddle in, their affairs in every sense, whether it's through proxy wars, whether it's through directly funding militia groups. Now wants to talk about Somalia's peace. It makes no sense to me.
Do you feel military intervention is going to be history repeating itself?
Absolutely. It's not just history repeating itself. It's just it's imperialism, Western imperialism reforming and modernizing. The same way that the world has moved on from slavery, like the way that it was done. The ways technology has advanced, imperialism has advanced, is modified, and now it's not about going and directly, blatantly going to a country and saying that we're going to invade you, or we're going to stick our flag in you, and we're going to carve out parts of your country and give it away to different countries for goodwill gesture. But it's about strategically and in a most sort of updated way, doing the same thing, but through doing campaigns, working campaigns around it. So for me, the war on terror is a campaign. It's a campaign that allows them to manipulate the internal politics of the countries. I mean, for example, if people have been talking about, have been screaming from microphones about who created Al-Shabaab, who created the piracy. They create these hostile situations for people to trap, it's like a net people to trap into, and then they say, oh, there's Al-Shabaab, there's piracy. So then they can have an actual legitimate, as they could get an excuse, a pretext to go and invade our country. So in my opinion, it's just another Iraq. We found out Iraq, that it was 10 years ago, it was being organised ways of invading Iraq. It's another Afghanistan, it's what's going to be another Iran. So it's not, wherever there's imperialist interest, maybe the campaign and the way they go about it is different, but the end result is always the same.
Thank you. Across the road there's an Ethiopian protest, and not many people are going to look at that one because this one's kind of outnumbered that one, but do you feel that we should be in solidarity with them as well? Do you think that there is the same message in both of the protests?
Absolutely. I went over there and I was like, can we join you? So why don't you guys join us? And they were like, we're in solidarity with what you guys doing, but we have our own internal issues that we want to address. And we believe that the two messages will get mixed up. You're here because you don't want intervention. We're not getting intervention. There's no intervention being talked about for our country, but we are dealing with a dictator. A dictator who refuses to step down, a dictator that is oppressing his people, a dictator that is not meeting the needs of his people. So I completely respect the fact that they decided to have this separate protest, and I feel bad that all the attention is coming to Somalia, because equally the country is suffering, the people are suffering, and it's one of the countries that have supported Somalia when the civil war happened. I lived there a year and a half myself, and they're incredibly hospitable people. They're incredible, and for me, in my personal experience of living in Ethiopia, they're amazing people, and it saddens me the struggle that they're still going through with their leader. So our complete solidarity, and everyone here feels what they're feeling, and wish that we can join, but I completely respect the fact that they want to keep it separate for their own reasons.
Okay, well, thank you, Muna, for joining us today. It's been Refinding Freedom. Check our website, refindingfreedom.wordpress.com, and check off handsofsomalia.co.uk as well. Peace.